Alright guys, so what you just watched are two clips from a movie that we shot for my daughter's YouTube video. And today what I'm going to do is just break down how we pretty much lit the scenes with just using daylight and one LED light as a fill light. Just a disclaimer, I am not a DP or a cinematographer. I'm simply a YouTuber who likes to make movies, or try to at least. With that being said, let's go ahead and break down the first shot. A little something you can use when doing something like this, when trying to convert day to night, or when you're just using the sun period outside or inside. It's actually really good to know where the sun is. And you can get an app for this, but I used a website called suncalc.org. It tells you the position of the sun at a certain time, so you can know where the sun is going to be. So in our case, we needed the sun to be aiming this way to give us enough light, because if not, I don't think I would have had enough light to light the scene really. And the second thing that helped me shoot this was our shutters. Most of our house have rolling shutters, or rolladen, whatever they call it over here, that you can open and close to really control the light that's coming in the house. So that really helps a lot, because it kind of acts as a flag to kind of block light and shape light. So that's the second thing that helped me with this. The first was SunCalc website. The second thing was the shutters that we have. So looking at this shot, the key light or the sunlight is blasting through that door that I showed you guys right here. That is our key light. With the raw that you're looking at right now, you can pretty much tell this was shot in daylight. After doing one take or so, I looked at the camera and I told my wife, yeah, that my face is completely gone. It's just dark, my shirt's dark, and the couch down here was just complete darkness. So I knew I had to do something. I was gonna bounce light, but that wasn't enough. So what I ended up doing was grabbing a little $30, $40 light powered by a Sony battery, and I used it as a fill light on the opposite side of that door, which I ended up putting at the bottom of this floor right here, pointing towards my shadow side of my body. So you can actually see it on my pants in this raw. You can clearly see it in my eye right here. It gives that a little dot, and that's just on the floor at around 30% at daylight balance. Try to match the sun outside so that we can easily white balance later on and change the color. So we have a fill light right there blasting on the opposite side of the sun or the window, as acting as a fill light, which is good. And the next thing we ended up doing here was adding a fog. Now I wish I can actually buy a hazer, because a hazer would do better than using a fog machine, but I have a $20, $30 fog machine that I got from an electronics store here, which works, but you can't record right away. You have to kind of let it dissipate a little bit, unless, you know, of course you're trying to make a rap music video. But for me, I would turn on the fog machine, and then I would walk around the area a little bit, and then had my wife press record so that you can kind of see there's something there, but it's not too crazy like something is burning. And that smoke effect just adds a little bit of texture, because you know that the sun outside doesn't actually have enough punch, because the clouds are going in and out. But by adding that smoke there, it just gives the living room a little bit texture that I really wanted. Now, as you all know, YouTube's compression is horrible, so getting clean image at low light situations like this is very hard. I'm actually still trying to figure out how to get clean images at low light situations like this. So you probably saw a lot of blockiness on YouTube, and it was really ugly, and I am sorry for that. So let's go ahead and look at the color corrected Rec 709 part of this clip. Here it's really simple. Primaries, no secondaries was used. Saturation, left gamma gain, that's pretty much it. And you know, from the raw to Rec 709, I think it looks pretty decent, considering the key light was the sun outside. Obviously we had to change the white balance to bluer because it's supposed to be nighttime, and I think it worked. I mean, honestly, I think it worked. The only thing I would have changed here was I could have flagged this off. I could have blocked that light, because that is very distracting right there. And, you know, it's one of those things that I really thought about when I was looking at it and color correcting it. But, you know, Oh well, it's just for my YouTube, for my daughter's YouTube video. You know, I have plenty of time to improve. So moving on to the second scene, let's look at the raw real quick. And as you can see right off the bat, we have our key light right here, which is again sunlight. Now, when I first recorded a take, I automatically noticed that it was too bright, too punchy. So what I ended up doing was actually putting a gel on the window, at least 90% of it, because the gel I have is a Lee 216. It's not big enough to cover that bathroom window, but I just slapped it on there and it gave it a little, it just diffused it just a little bit for me. So that's our key light. And I ran into the same exact situation I had in the first shot, but my face was gone, shirt was gone, just complete darkness, clipping in the shadows. So what did I do? I grabbed the same exact light, put it in one of the steps, I aimed it at the wall, and now you can see the fill light right here in my arm, my face. It just brings the shadow up a little bit because we don't want to clip it. I mean, I know the Pocket 4K has really good dynamic range. So after looking at the image, there was really bad spill right here. Let's see if I can go with it. There was a really bad spill right here from the fill light, and I told my wife, all right, we're gonna have to reshoot. Let me go and take care of that real quick, because it was just white. It was really bright from the bounce, from the fill. So I was starting to mess around with a t-shirt that was lying around, just trying to like flag it down. But my wife actually came up with a better idea. It's like, Jay, why don't you just put a towel on the handrail on the stairs, and that would flag off that light. And sure enough, it worked, as you can see here. And that's just a perfect example of always having somebody there with you when you shoot, because they might see something that you don't. She clearly saw that. She knew how to solve it. And like 90% of where I do, I'm by myself, so it kind of sucks, but it's always better to bring somebody with you, because they might see something that you're not seeing. All right, so the last thing that we added here, you can probably guess already, is the fog once again. So pretty much same tricks as the first clip, with me turning it on and walking around the area and then pressing record and rolling. You can actually see the smoke right here. If you look there in the video again, you'll see the smoke just go a little bit, because like I said, it's a fog machine. It's actually not a hazer. Maybe one day we'll get a hazer. All right, so let's go ahead and look at the Rec 709. So you can see it. As you can see in the Rec 709, the shadows are lifted, but that's because, like I said, YouTube compression just blocks. You can see the blockiness of it if I crush it a little bit lower than this. So I'm still experimenting to see how to get a good clean image in low light situations like this, because as you can see, it's just blockiness, it's compressed, it's very ugly. Now I did highlight this thing right here, and that is I wish I could have flagged that, because that is distracting. It's super bright, super hot, and that's really bad. But you know, it's one of those things. Again, we shot this thing in like 30 minutes, and you know, so I mean, I missed a lot of things. But yeah, I hope you guys learned something new today. I know if you guys have any questions, let me know. And like always, thank you all for all the subscribers and the comments and whatnot. I really do actually learn a lot from YouTube, and this is pretty much where I learned everything, you know, mostly YouTube and forums. So yeah, I'll see you guys later.